Thank you very much. Welcome to all of you, our online viewers, and especially to Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison. We're very excited to have you here with us today. The senator was elected to the Senate in 1993. She is a ranking Republican on the Senate Committee of Commerce, Science, and Transportation. She also serves on the Appropriations Committee and the Committee on Rules and Administration. In the 112th Congress, Senator Hutchison serves as the ranking Republican member of the Appropriations Subcommittee for Commerce, Justice, and Science. In this Congress, Senator Hutchison has introduced legislation that would reverse some of the harmful effects of President Obama's health care law, including the Patients' Freedom to Choose Act, which would repeal provisions that restrict popular health savings accounts and flexible spending accounts that help patients maximize their health care dollars. Senator Hutchison graduated from the University of Texas and the UT Law School. She was twice elected to the Texas House of Representatives, and in 1990 she was elected Texas State Treasurer. She is also the author of several very interesting books, including American Heroines, The Spirited Women Who Shaped Our Country, and her most recent book, Leading Ladies, American Trailblazers. So today, Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison will be speaking about one of the very important issues facing us. Social Security, as you all know, is in deep financial trouble and will be unable to keep its promises to millions of retirees. And Social Security is one of the three major entitlement programs that really are at the core of our current spending problem. And it is widely recognized that the current path we are on today is unsustainable. And thanks to Senator Hutchison's leadership and her willingness to propose a serious solution to the problem that too many today are unwilling to even acknowledge, we are really proud to welcome her here to talk about her proposal to reform Social Security. Senator Hutchison.
Well, thank you very much, Allison, and I do want to first thank Heritage for giving myself, but also so many others, the opportunity to put out ideas and have a forum to talk about them and vet them. Heritage does a great job, and I am a real fan of this organization that really is a resource for many of us as well, as we look into deep policy issues and we need capabilities for finding facts that maybe we don't have at the Senate level. So thank you, Heritage. I do want to say that Social Security clearly is an issue that I think we can solve. I think it has to be done in a bipartisan way so that it doesn't become a political issue. When you kind of go out on a limb and you say, here's a solution, yes, it is a little bit of pain, but a great big gain. You have to do that in a bipartisan way, or it will be a 30-second ad and people will run away from it. But this is one we really can make a difference. We can do it in a bipartisan way, and I hope that we will join together and have the guts in the Congress to do it, hopefully with the President's support. Let me say that I introduced my legislation last week. Senator Kyle is my co-sponsor, and it is the Defend and Save Social Security Act. Before I describe it fully, I will say it has no tax increases and no cuts in core benefits. We all know that Social Security is on a downward glide path. Currently, Social Security benefits being paid out exceed the revenue coming in. The Board of Trustees of the Social Security Administration estimated just in the last month that the Social Security Trust Fund would be depleted in 2036. Now that means, under present law, that benefits would be cut immediately 23% in 2036. That would be an average of $270 per month. Or the trustees suggest we could do something about it starting right now. Those suggestions, I don't think anyone here would disagree, are really not viable alternatives. First, we could raise the tax right now from 12.4% to 14.5% total between employers and employees. In other words, increase payroll taxes on both sides in a time of economic downturn and over 9% unemployment. That really doesn't seem in the realm of reasonable. Or we could cut core benefits right now, 13.8%, an average of $150 per month. Well, clearly, that's not very credible either. So, what can we do to shore up the system by starting now with a much less impactful solution? First, I want to do something that will not add to our debt. And frankly, that's why I introduced my bill now. We could have waited and kind of let things settle after the debt reduction or the debt increase vote. We could have waited and said, okay, we'll just kick the can down the road. I introduced my legislation because I don't think we can wait, and I do think it should be part of the overall debate on raising the debt limit. Because we can't do the deficit reduction that's necessary just cutting discretionary spending. Everyone knows that. We're looking at about 60% of the budget going toward mandatory spending. So cutting discretionary spending, which is a smaller part of the budget, is not going to get us where we have to go to raise a $14 trillion debt ceiling. So here's what my bill does. First of all, anyone 58 and older will not be affected at all. For everyone else, the retirement age will gradually increase, both the normal retirement age and the early retirement age. The normal retirement age would reach 67 by 2019, 68 by 2023, and 69 by 2027. Now, I want to say that under current law, the age is already going up to 67. We just make it a little earlier, and then we go on beyond to 68 and 69 by 2027. The early retirement age would also be gradually increased to 63 by 2019 and 64 by 2023. The other part of my proposal would be the cost of living increase would be adjusted 1% downward. So over the past 10 years, the cost of living adjustment has been 2.2%, the rate of inflation. Mine would lower that by 1%. So if inflation is rampant or it goes beyond 1%, then you would see a COLA. But at 1%, you would not. Now that averages about, if you look at the last 10 years and we've got a 2.2% average increase, lowering it by 1% would be about under $12 a month. I think that 1% and the gradual rate of age increase, which clearly is, looking at the actuarial tables, very reasonable. I think that gradual increase in age and the gradual, I think, small reduction in COLA does the things that we need to do to make Social Security solvent for the next 75 years. And we have from the Social Security actuary the numbers that show that is true. So my bill will maintain a positive balance for the trust fund's assets. And this is the chart that shows that. If we go under the law today without any changes, which I hear people say, and Harry Reid said he thought that we didn't need to have anything to do with Social Security right now because it wasn't in big trouble. Well, here is the not big trouble glide path. At 2036, the trust fund is gone. under my proposal, this is the trajectory, and it's still good in 2080. So we're looking at 75 years of actual credibility, and beyond then, if we need to make adjustments in the next 75 years, I think Congress will be able to do that, because probably our health and actuarial tables will continue to increase. So here's what it does with the debt. According to the Social Security Administration's chief actuary, my proposal achieves $416 billion in deficit reduction over the 10-year window that we're looking at the budget. So we would get $416 billion off the deficit, and that would be over the next 10 years. Over 75 years, it is $7.2 trillion that we would not have to accumulate in debt. So my proposal defends retirees from core benefit cuts and saves Social Security for future generations without raising taxes. I have written a letter to Vice President Biden asking that he put this into the equation with his working group to deal with debt reduction issues. It is my hope that we can make this part of that whole discussion. Now, Medicare, of course, is another entitlement that everyone is looking at. I think we could make some changes in Medicare, but it is more complicated, much more complicated than I think the Social Security fix would be, which is why, of the two, this would be the easier to do in the short term. I understand that not everyone has access to these wonderful heritage events, so I have put a 2-minute YouTube video together to talk about this issue and my solution, which is under YouTube Senator Hutchison, and I hope that people will look at Social Security by the numbers. It's a very simple, straightforward presentation about where we are and what my solution would do. So with that, I would be happy to answer your questions, and I thank again the Heritage Foundation for letting us have a forum, and I thank all of you for your interest in hopefully addressing the Social Security issue, which I think is urgent, even if the majority leader does not. Thank you very much.